Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into the heart of Saxony, Germany, to a city that has risen from ashes, reinvented itself, and reclaimed its cultural legacy again and again. This is the remarkable story of Dresden, past, present, and future. So sit back, hit that like button, and let's bring history to life. Nestled along the Elbe River, Dresden is one of Germany's most storied and visually stunning cities. Often referred to as the Florence on the Elbe, due to its Baroque and Rococo architecture, the city has long stood as a symbol of art, science, resilience, and rebirth. From its origins as a Slavic settlement to its role as a royal residence, and later a city nearly wiped off the map during World War II, Dresden's journey is nothing short of epic. The earliest traces of human settlement in the Dresden area date back to the Neolithic era. However, the name Dresden comes from the Old Sorbian word Drezjani, meaning people of the forest. These Slavic tribes settled on the banks of the Elbe around the 6th century AD. By the 12th century, German settlers began arriving in the area during the Ostsiedlung, a period of eastward migration. In 1206, Dresden was officially mentioned in historical records for the first time, marking the city's official birth. During the Middle Ages, Dresden became a strategic market town due to its location on important trade routes. The city began to grow in wealth and importance, particularly during the reign of the Margraves of Meissen. The true transformation of Dresden began in the 15th century when it became the royal residence of the electors of Saxony. But it was during the 18th century, under the rule of Augustus the Strong and his son Augustus III, that Dresden entered its golden age. Augustus the Strong had ambitious dreams. He wanted Dresden to rival the great cultural capitals of Europe, Rome, Paris, and Vienna. Under his patronage, the city was transformed into a Baroque masterpiece. Architects, sculptors, and painters from across Europe came to Dresden to contribute to this grand vision. Some of the iconic landmarks built during this time include the Zwinger Palace, a sprawling complex of galleries, pavilions, and gardens. The Dresden Frauenkirche, a stunning Lutheran church crowned with a magnificent stone dome. The Semperoper, one of the world's finest opera houses. The Catholic Court Church, Katholische Hofkirche, showcasing Dresden's embrace of religious and architectural pluralism. The city also became a hub for music and science. Composers like Carl Maria von Weber and Richard Wagner had strong connections to Dresden, while mathematicians and physicists like Gottfried Leibniz left an intellectual legacy. The 19th century was a time of modernization and industrialization. Dresden became a key player in Germany's emerging railway network and industrial base. It was home to engineering, precision instrument manufacturing, and textile production. Culturally, the city continued to thrive. The art academies and museums expanded, and Dresden became known for its intellectual vibrancy. Romanticism found fertile ground in the city, and painters of the Dresden School earned international acclaim. Politically, Dresden was also involved in the revolutionary movements of 1848 to 49. Although the uprising in Dresden was eventually suppressed, it showed the city's growing liberal spirit and resistance to authoritarian rule. And then, everything changed. In February 1945, as World War II neared its end, Dresden became the target of one of the most controversial Allied bombing campaigns of the war. Over the course of 3 days, February 13th to 15th, waves of British and American bombers dropped thousands of tons of explosives on the city. The result was catastrophic. Dresden's historic center, with its centuries-old architecture, was engulfed in a firestorm. Tens of thousands of civilians perished, and entire neighborhoods were reduced to ash. Estimates of the death toll vary, but modern scholarship places it between 22,000 and 25,000. What's certain is this: one of Europe's most beautiful cities was left in ruins. The bombing of Dresden has since become a powerful symbol of war's brutality, the loss of cultural heritage, and the moral complexities of strategic warfare. After the war, Dresden was absorbed into the Soviet-controlled German Democratic Republic, East Germany. Reconstruction began, but under a very different vision. The socialist regime prioritized functionality over aesthetics. Many of the Baroque buildings that had made Dresden famous were not initially rebuilt. Instead, new neighborhoods with concrete apartment blocks, known as Plattenbau, were constructed to house the population. Yet, even in the GDR era, the cultural spirit of Dresden refused to die. Some landmark buildings were gradually restored, most notably the Semperoper and the Zwinger. Artistic and academic life continued behind the Iron Curtain, though often under strict ideological control. Everything changed again in 1989 with the fall of the Berlin Wall. Dresden was among the first East German cities to demand change, with thousands participating in peaceful protests known as the Monday demonstrations. After German reunification in 1990, Dresden embarked on an ambitious journey of restoration. Millions of euros were invested in rebuilding the historic city center, and special care was taken to recreate architectural details with historical accuracy. The most powerful symbol of Dresden's rebirth is the Frauenkirche. Left in ruins for decades as a war memorial, it was finally reconstructed using original stones and rededicated in 2005. Today, it stands once again in Neumarkt Square, a symbol of resilience, reconciliation, and faith. Modern-day Dresden is a thriving metropolis of around 560,000 people. It is the capital of Saxony and one of Eastern Germany's most dynamic cities. Economically, Dresden has become a hub for technology and innovation. It's often referred to as Silicon Saxony, thanks to its growing semiconductor and microelectronics industries. Companies like Global Foundries and Infineon have major facilities here. In the academic world, Dresden is home to the Technische Universität Dresden, one of Germany's top research universities. Culturally, the city remains a treasure trove. Highlights include the Green Vault, Grünes Gewölbe, housing one of the richest treasure collections in Europe. The Old Masters Picture Gallery, Gemälde Galerie Alte Meister, featuring works by Raphael, Rembrandt, and Vermeer. Annual festivals like the Dresden Music Festival, Filmfest Dresden, and Striezelmarkt, one of the oldest Christmas markets in the world. And perhaps just as striking, Dresden is one of the greenest cities in Europe. Over 60% of its area is green space, with vast parks, riverbanks, and the nearby Saxon-Switzerland National Park just a short drive away. Despite its many strengths, Dresden faces modern challenges. Political polarization has emerged, with tensions over immigration and nationalism making headlines in recent years. At the same time, the city is actively investing in inclusivity, environmental sustainability, and digital infrastructure. The local government has committed to making Dresden climate neutral by 2035. Public transportation, renewable energy projects, and eco-conscious urban planning are central to this effort. There's also growing international cooperation. Dresden has twinning arrangements with cities like Florence, St. Petersburg, and Coventry, fostering cultural exchange and remembrance. From its medieval roots to royal grandeur, from ashes to restoration, Dresden is a city like no other. It embodies the soul of Europe, artistic, intellectual, wounded, but always determined to rise again. If you ever visit Dresden, walk its streets with eyes wide open. Behind every facade is a story, a scar, a triumph. This isn't just a city. It's a testament to what humanity can build, destroy, and rebuild again, with courage, creativity, and heart. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you found this video inspiring, informative, or moving, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments. Have you ever been to Dresden, or do you dream of going? Until next time, stay curious and keep history alive.